New details tonight on a North Side business hit by thieves for the third time in less than a month.
WGN's Andrea Medina spoke to the owner, who shared surveillance video of the latest break-in just this morning.
The sight of boarded windows has become too familiar at Fedis Lub in Sieben, a plumbing and heating company based on the city's north side.
They broke through our office window, climbed through the window, made their way into our shop, and made hay, grabbing tools, equipment.
The plumbing company was broken into on Monday just after 4 in the morning, according to police. As 3 male suspects were leaving the business with stolen items, they noticed responding officers left the tools outside and got away in a white-colored Jeep. Owner Scott Hoffman says it's not the first time they've been targeted.
So 100 years in business, and this is how the year starts, with 3 break-ins in 3 weeks.
Hoffman says in today's and last week's break-ins, no one was in the office when suspects smashed windows to steal pipe threaders, sewer cameras, and other valuable tools. Both times occurred in Stephanie Argamasso's office.
My kids' pictures were all over the floor. The second time is more angering because it's almost like we expected it to happen, because they're just going to keep coming until we catch them.
But during the first incident on January 18th, Hoffman says some of his plumbers had a threatening encounter with the offenders.
2 of the guys came in and were followed in by 4 or 3 armed gunmen, and literally put the guns to their heads.
According to a District 19 crime report, from January 29 through February 4th, there have been at least 55 burglaries and 34 robberies reported since the beginning of 2024. That's up from last year, where 53 burglaries and 23 robberies were investigated. Some of the neighborhoods in the 19th district include Lincoln Square, North Center, Lakeview, and Wrigleyville.
It's to the point where it's everywhere. I don't know what's being done. Nothing's being done, and obviously we're the victim of it.
With the company sitting on a busy street at the corner of Lincoln and Pensacola Avenues, multiple notices have been posted on their doors and windows, alerting community members of their troubles. As Hoffman pushes through the recent challenges, he hopes sharing their experience will help catch those committing these types of crimes in the neighborhood.
We're beefing up our security here. I don't know much more we can do. That's the thing that's frustrating.
The company is out more than $100,000 for the repeat break-ins. Hoffman says some of their stolen equipment had Apple AirTags attached, and CPD is working to locate them. But at this time, no one has been arrested. Reporting on the north side, Andrea Medina, WGN News.
New video released today of the dramatic rescue of 2 hostages from Gaza.
The Israeli military sharing the footage of the overnight operation. Cameras capturing the moment the 2 freed hostages are taken to safety. The rescue happened in the southern city of Rafah, which is described by Israel as the last remaining Hamas stronghold. At least 67 Palestinians were killed in airstrikes during the raid. Local officials say women and children are among those killed. Rafah is where 1.4 million Palestinians have fled to escape the fighting in the Israel-Hamas war. The latest deaths of Palestinians in the Israel-Hamas war sparking a large protest at Chicago's Federal Plaza tonight. Dozens of people packing the Loop to show their outrage. Members calling for an emergency protest after the deadly overnight airstrikes in Gaza. The protest was led by the Chicago Coalition for Justice in Palestine. Organizers speaking about the war's devastating toll and calling for the conflict to end.
And President Biden welcomed the King of Jordan to the White House today for talks on how to end the war and what would happen after. Jordan and other Arab states have been highly critical of Israel, saying the fighting must end before long-term planning can begin. They've been demanding a ceasefire since nearly a week after the war started. The U.S. is also working toward another pause in the fighting, and a senior U.S. official says a framework is essentially in place.
The United States is working on a hostage deal between Israel and Hamas, which would bring an immediate and sustained period of calm to Gaza for at least 6 weeks.
Your leadership, my dear friend, Mr. President, is key to addressing this conflict, and Jordan is ready to work, as always, with you.
The ceasefire would also allow the delivery of more aid, especially medical items. The king says restrictions on that are leading to inhumane conditions. A final vote is expected soon after the Senate advanced a bill to provide $95 billion in emergency aid to U.S. allies.
Washington correspondent Raquel Martin has the latest from D.C.
Well, while most Americans were home enjoying the Super Bowl, senators were stuck here in Washington working overtime to advance the massive package. It is poised to pass the Senate, but not without some very vocal pushback from Republicans.
It's time to finish the job.
After weeks of partisan bickering, the Senate is moving slowly toward passing a $95.3 billion package to help Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine.
It's a down payment for the survival of Western democracy and the survival of American values.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is pushing for final approval of the bill this week.
A motion is agreed to.
18 Republicans, led by Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, voted to advance the package over the weekend.
It's no exaggeration to say that the eyes of the world are on the United States Senate.
But the vast majority of Senate Republicans remain dead set against the bill.
We should not give another dime to Ukraine until we secure our border.
We're being invaded.
Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul is working to delay the process as long as he can. On the floor, he slammed Senate leadership for working in cahoots to force the deal through.
Open the champagne, pop the cork. The Senate Democrat leader and the Republican leader are on their way to Kiev.
The bill would send $60 billion to Ukraine to support its war against Russia. U.S. aid to Ukraine ran out last month. Monday, the president said Congress must step up.
We have to end the political games, folks.
Once the bill passes the Senate, it faces potentially even bigger hurdles in the Republican-controlled House. Right now, it's unclear if Speaker of the House Mike Johnson will even bring the bill to a vote. For now, in Washington, Raquel Martin, back to you.
To get to some breaking news right now, reports of a fire at a senior living facility in Tinley Park. Skycam 9 just got to the scene there, and you can see all those flashing lights. This is at the Hanover Place Senior Living Facility. We are waiting for fire officials to get back to us about exactly what is happening out there, and we will bring you those updates as they become available. Well, a nor'easter will soon take aim at the U.S. East Coast. Next at 6, the preparations now underway ahead of the storm's arrival.
Here at home, the calm and sunny conditions continue, but Tom is tracking midweek rain showers. He's going to time that out for us next in the full forecast.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check 1.
The family of a man shot and killed by Carroll Stream police say they want to see all the body camera video of that incident. They say police have shown them an edited version that confirms their worst fears.
WGN's Brona Tumulty is live in Carroll Stream tonight with an update. Brona.
Good evening. Yeah, press conference just wrapped up here outside of the police department in Carroll Stream. A lot of the family members of 30-year-old Isaac Goodloe present. They were understandably upset, fired up, and speaking about their cousin, their brother, their loved one who was fatally shot in the early hours of February 3rd while he was inside the Villagebrook apartments here in Carroll Stream. Police have said they were responding to a domestic violence incident that night, telling WGN that 2 officers opened fire, killing Goodloe. Both are on paid leave as the investigation proceeds. The family's lawyer, Andrew Stroth, confirming to us this afternoon that when those shots were fired, Goodloe was in his apartment alone and unarmed. The family telling us here tonight that Goodloe was actually asleep in his bedroom when a maintenance worker or someone associated with the apartment complex let the cops in. Now, the family described the police as being dressed in full gear, guns drawn and shields up. They say they know all of this, having seen snippets of the body-worn footage, saying in a statement it was manicured, redacted and heavily edited video they were allowed to see on February 9th. Nevertheless, it was abundantly clear that the Carroll Stream police officers, whose faces and identities were withheld, acted with depraved hearts, recklessly and in violation of Isaac's constitutional rights when they shot and murdered an unarmed black man while he was quietly in the bedroom of his own apartment. One of the people who spoke here today was his sister. Take a listen.
The video is horrific. They lied. What they did was unjustified. They went in there and they shot my brother in his sleep. And we want justice. They lied to you guys. The video needs to come out so you guys can see what we seen.
Now, as you heard there, the family wants the video to be made publicly available in whole. They said they only saw snippets of it. The village said they will release the video and make it public as soon as the DuPage Public Integrity Unit and the State's Attorney's Office confirms that releasing it in full won't impact their investigation. We're live in Carroll Stream. Brona Tumulty, WGN News.